This is problem number 8-37. If you were to graph the function f of x equals the quantity x minus 74 squared times the quantity x plus 29, where would the graph intersect the x-axis? So what this is really asking for is what are the x-intercepts? Okay, so that's when we set y equal to 0 and then solve for x. So in this one it's already in factored form, so that way we can kind of use the zero product property, if you remember that term from Algebra 1. So I'm going to set my f of x that's going to become 0. That's the same as y. So keep everything else the same on this side. So the zero product property says you can set each parenthesis equal to 0 and solve it, separately, because this time, if this is 0 times something, it'll still be 0. If this part is 0 times something, it still works. So one of these must be 0. So I'm going to set x minus 74, that part squared, equals to 0. And really the square doesn't really matter here when we're solving it, because if we take the square root of each side, we still get 0 equals x minus 74. And then if I move that 74 over, so I'll get x is worth 74. Okay, and if I do the same thing with this factor here and set that equal to 0, I'll subtract the 29 from both sides, so I'll get x equals negative 29. Now what you don't really have to do, you really didn't have to do this algebra if you can just look at it, since it's already in this factored form. It's basically, you can kind of solve this in your head, or you can still write it down algebraically. But the only thing that is extra here that we need to write down is this squared means that there's two of these. So it's a bounce, or I'm going to say it's a double root at this 74. Okay, you should say that. And then this is just a single root. So that means this bounces at 74. This one just goes straight through at the negative 29. Okay, so those are where the graph of that function would cross the x-axis.